This is a bonus episode featuring Stewart Copeland. To hear Stewart's full-length interview, subscribe to The Trap Set on iTunes. This one comes from John Worster, who's a great drummer. How long were the fuck off you cunt heads on your kit?
I'm not sure. I think it was just after Zenyatta, and I can tell by the jacket I was wearing and other... There's a guy in Germany who's a cop in Dortmund, Germany, whose life is identifying photos and dating photographs. And the one where I'm sitting on the drum and you can see it. And by the way, translated into Japanese script underneath. And I want the last word of those four, the Japanese pictograph for that noun is like a weird joke. But it was not what most people think of it was. It was just a moment sitting there. I'd just been signing autographs on an album. And, in the sound check, I still had the Sharpie in my hand. And it's a sound check and that liverish sound check. And it was addressed to myself. I promise it was addressed to me as a bit of self-provocation. But it's gone down in history as being directed at the bass player.
Do you have love for the bass player in your heart?
I do.
Yeah.
Love and admiration. And we both recognize that during the course of the reunion tour, we kind of realized who each other is. And at a point, we had band therapy.
You did?
Yeah. It was fantastic, and it worked. And basically the therapist, plural, put us into a situation, an environment of a conversational environment where we said stuff. And
oh my God!
What we heard from each other blew both of our minds. There's he describing, I won't tell you, but the things that he was thinking, and I think, how could you possibly think that? I didn't write Roxanne. I didn't write Message in a Bottle. I didn't write Every Breath You Take. Are you kidding that you have an insecurity about X, Y, and Z?
It's that whole thing you were talking about before about constructing this argument in your own mind.
Yeah. And so we, over decades, the band therapy really helped. And we realized that we actually have done a lot of good stuff for each other, and we really value each other. As I've explained, there are reasons for conflict. There are factors which, when we get into a room to be a band, we're not going to get along real well.
Yeah.
And it's going to come up again because of who we are, where we've been, what we've learned, what we've earned.
But it probably is what makes you greater than the sum of your parts, too.
Perhaps.
Okay, next question. How does it feel to be the only drummer to ever use a splash cymbal non-offensively?
I dispute that. I would say that Buddy Rich, Louis Bellson, Gene Krupa, all those jazz guys, and for some reason they stopped, the cymbal company stopped making them. And the first ones that I used were toys from a toy store. And I don't know why I thought of using, I think probably reggae. I'll bet some cat on a reggae album went psh. And I thought, I need that.
This next question is about reggae, and it's from Parker. He says, did you go study reggae music in Jamaica, or did you come to it by way of England?
I didn't study it at all. I figured out what the drop kick was, how that works. That was 5 minutes of study. There are one or two Police songs that are actually reggae, as played by Jamaicans. Roxanne is not. Roxanne is not. It makes you think it's reggae because the backbeat's in the wrong place. Message in a Bottle, not reggae. I mean, most of them are not. They're reggae-ish, but let's see. Bed's Too Big Without You. That's a shuffle on the drums, but a reggae guitar part. Walking on the Moon. Okay, that is a classic, straight off of a Bob Marley album. Drum
with
track.
a bunch of delay too, kind of like dubbed out.
Yeah. And I think I got the delay stuff off the reggae from not the reggae drummer, but the reggae mixer, the engineer, the producer who did the dub.
Were you into like King Tubby and
not particularly
Lee Perry or any of that stuff?
I heard a lot of it.
Yeah,
but I didn't study it at all, and I didn't profess to be a reggae artist at all. We were kind of called that, and it was not inconvenient to be called that, but really we were trying to do our own thing, inspired by that.
Matt asks about your recording process. Did you spend a lot of time perfecting the sound of the drums?
No. I spent a lot of time perfecting the technique of stick control, my paradiddles, my single-stroke rolls, my flams, and all that stuff. And the sound of the drums kind of took care of itself. And recently I had a big epiphany about the sound of the drums, which is playing with an acoustic orchestra. Get this, another fun fact. I sit down with a 60-piece orchestra, and there's no sound check. Why is there no sound check? There's no PA.
Yeah.
60 guys huddle together in a room and make an entirely acoustic, unenhanced sound, and it is what it is in the room. And so at that volume, I have to play really quietly. And the sound of the drums changes dramatically. They sound really great when you play them quietly. So for the sound of the drums, I wish I had thought about it more.
Did you think a lot about tuning or any of that kind of stuff, or was it just like, okay, this sounds good to me, let's go?
Yes, you tune the drums and they don't sound good, so you mess with them some more. And I never have figured out whether it's tight bottom skin, slack top skin, or the other way around. I don't know. But you just mess with it.
There's an element of magic to it.
And then you give up on all that and just just hit it. You know, I believe very much in a philosophy of plug and play. The guitarist who walks up to his amp, plugs in, turns around, and burns. That's how you do it. Plug and play. And the guy who has to hassle with his foot pedals and adjust the EQ and spends his time squinting at his amplifier, that's not plug and play.
Benji asks when you became serious about roller skating.
I never got serious. It was just a fun thing to do. When we were playing the arenas and stadiums and you got hours to kill, it's very relaxing. And skating around an arena, which is a full circle on the lobby level there, oh, it's just fantastic.
Harry asks if there's any new artists or bands that you're into.
Not new, no. I mean, I remember the time I said to my brothers, hey, this is a cool new band. You got to check them out. They're called Nirvana.
That's cool.
I live in an ivory tower, and it's kind of hard to hear from up here.
Yeah, I can't hear shit from up here.
Except for what I'm talking.
Yeah, well, that's the good kind of shit. And then a bunch of people asked if there's any unreleased Klark Kent material or if Klark Kent will ever return.
Stay tuned.
All right. Stewart Copeland, thank you so much.